Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM, WRDN. We are at Commodity Classic. I'm Brian Winnekins. Thank you to our Commodity Classic sponsors, including Alcivia Co-op, Wisconsin Farmers Union, Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, along with Osteoplastics and Wisconsin Soybean Growers and Wisconsin Corn Growers Association. I'm with Tom Gillis. He's a Wisconsin corn grower from River Falls. He's also a delegate with Wisconsin Corn Growers Association, so he's one of those that gets to vote at Corn Congress. And Tom, thanks for joining us. Well, first, tell us a little bit about the farm.
Thanks so much for having us. It's wonderful to be all together again at the Commodity Classic. Our farm consists of about 1,800 acres. Older brother and I are the main operators. We have some full-time help, and my son, who also works in the agricultural field, helps on weekends and at nights and whatever else I can get out of him. So
helps on weekends and nights. I like that. So your thoughts so far on what's been happening here at Commodity Classic?
Well, we got here Wednesday. We had issues briefing through the NCGA, which kind of keeps us abreast of the current ebbs and flows of all the world events going on. And then we break out into individual state caucus meetings to go over the resolutions and the policy book and the action items that we're voting on as delegates. And it's just a very informational, informational process to make sure everybody's up to speed. And we had our first delegate meeting yesterday morning then as well.
So for those that have never been at Classic or had a chance to even be inside Corn Congress when that's going on, describe what that's like.
Well, it's a very formal process. Delegates are distributed amongst the corn grower member states based on your production levels, your yield levels, and the funding levels for national corn from your state programs, state organizations. So each state has various numbers of representation, and your votes are then weighted on that deal. So we don't vote on the officers here at this one. We vote at the summer Corn Congress meetings for the officer rotation of the full NCGA board. So it's a very formal process. You can amend resolutions, you can change resolutions. It's a very formal process, and the amount of time you're allowed to speak for or against the resolutions. So it's just a very formal process that works very well.
Talking with Tom Gillis. He's a corn farmer from River Falls here at the Commodity Classic. I know some of the things that for yourself on farm that you must be concerned with. One of them is these fertilizer prices.
We were fortunate enough we pre-bought fertilizer for this current growing season, and we have most of it's either been applied or we have it on storage on our farm. So we're in pretty good shape for right now. But going forward, is going to be a huge issue, I think, with the events that are just happening here currently, and moving forward from there. The tariffs, the war in Ukraine, there's just multiple layers. The inflationary numbers from fuel, the transportation costs, the rest of the inputs for our crop needs for this spring are going to be, we've got some of them on our farm already secured. We need to make sure we get the rest of them in a short order here to make sure we got timely planning and things go off without a hitch.
Tell us a little bit about your farm. What are some of the things you do to protect the environment?
Boy, where can we start? In the early 90s, we went to strip till and no-till. We plant cover crops. We are just every new technology, precision planting, precision placement of fertilizers, variable rate of fertilizers, variable rate of seed. Everything we can do to be more sustainable in the environment. The corn growing regions of the United States are the hugest carbon sink that we can have. We're high octane, low carbon fuel producers. It's just a wonderful thing of all the new technologies that we're able to address and utilize on our farm.
Implementing those technologies in some of the practices you've been doing, was it hard to make some of those changes?
I think it was harder on the neighbors. When we first started doing no-till and strip-till, everybody's kind of, well, look at what they're doing. Why are they doing that? And now it's kind of all come to fruition that maybe we're a little bit ahead of our time. And there's other neighbors now that are doing the same processes, and they're seeing the benefits. They're reaping the benefits. Last year we were short of rain. It was amazing how much more soil moisture you can conserve by not just tilling all of the ground, and it's just conservation issues on all levels.
What type of cover crops do you use?
Rye is our main focus. We have used radishes and the turnips and some of that stuff. Uh, we're far enough in northern Wisconsin that we are pretty limited to the amount of growth we can get after crop removal. So rye seems to kind of be the winner of the day for the moment. There'll be some experimentation, I'm sure, in the future that maybe something else will prove to be better. But rye is what we're using at the time.
Now, are you able to get any type of monetary value of harvesting that, or is this more just a cost?
It's a little bit of a cost. It's we'll seed about a bushel per acre, so it's sub $10, to put it in. So the real benefit is just organic matter and root mass and keeping the soil organisms growing and alive. Every time when there's living tissue in the soil, all the other bioorganisms react and keep growing and make the soil better for the future.
Have you noticed that you can use maybe a little less fertilizer because you have all that organic matter?
Yes, when you analyze soil test data, anytime you increase organic matter, your fertility rates can go down. The mineralization in the soil is better, the root mass in the soil is better. It's just a win-win on all avenues.
Some interesting stuff. Tom Gillis from River Falls here at Commodity Classic. I'm Brian Winnikins on WRDN.